Hello everyone, and welcome to Season 7, Episode 13 of Pro Wrestling's Top 50. I'm your host, Travis McNeil, and today we continue our countdown of the top 50 matches in CHIKARA history with match number 38 on our list, which is the no disqualification match between Mr. Touchdown Mark Angelosetti and Archibald Peck from the CHIKARA All the Agents and Superhuman Crew event held on February the 9th of 2013. This is a match that I feel... I don't want to necessarily call it a hidden gem on this list, but it's a match that I really feel like was forgotten about. And that these two performers, when you look at, the classic golden era of independent wrestling, leading into the creation of AEW and the NXT boom and everything like that, these are two performers that I think are going to largely be forgotten about. And that is a darn shame because both of them are so good. Archibald Peck, Robert Evans, Artie Evans, whatever you want to call him, is one of the most talented professional wrestlers I have ever seen. He is so funny. He can fit into any role that's given. He could be a dastardly heel. He could be a comedic heel. He could be a fiery babyface. He could do it all. He had a cup of coffee as a writer in the WWE, famously kind of fired for helping Bret Hart write his Hall of Fame speech. He is someone that I don't know kind of where, he'll end up in the grand scheme of wrestling, but, a major promotion could absolutely benefit from having him on board because he is so creative and he is so good. Mr. Touchdown is someone that I don't understand how he was never signed to the WWE. He has everything that I think that they should have been looking for. An amazing physique, good looks, great charisma, and just fantastic athletic ability. And he, the same as Archie was, he was able to adapt just in a different way where, he could be kind of a goofy, kind of comedy, lower card heel. He could be, a big time villain. He could be a monster heel. He could be a great, valiant babyface. He again fit into every role. And the feud that these two had is, in my opinion, one of the best CHIKARA ever did because it took all of these great, simple kind of wrestling storylines, through my youth and over the years and put it all together. And it's something that, outside of CHIKARA probably wouldn't have worked because it's a little silly, with all the throwback angles that they did. But the CHIKARA fan base, it's kind of funny. Because I almost liken it to like the ECW fan base, even though they are as polar opposite products as you could possibly get. But I do that because they're fans that, drank the Kool-Aid for all intents and purposes. They really invested in CHIKARA and in the storylines and, went with whatever they were spoon-fed and, the storylines that they were given, no matter how ridiculous or preposterous, they always seem to, give it their all as fans to get invested in them. And God bless them for it because it made the product all the better. So the feud that we had here, Archibald Peck, this is a tale as old as time, really. Archibald Peck is the leader of the band. He is a band geek who had his eyes set on, the bee's knees of the cheerleaders, Veronica Ticklefeather. And, she kind of led Archie on a little bit until she, had eyes for the star quarterback of the football team, Mr. Touchdown, and made her love known to him, breaking Archie's heart. This would lead to Archie trying to toughen up and don the mixed martial Archie gimmick, MMA, if you will, which was super funny and short-lived, where basically he would wear, weighted MMA gloves and, Venom or tap-out shorts and, cut all of these ridiculous UFC fighter-style promos and do these, like, MMA rules matches. It was ridiculous, it was hilarious, and it didn't overstay its welcome, which all of the best gimmicks don't. So he would develop that character. This would all end up leading to a loser leaves town match, a tag match between the two, where Angelosetti would win. This would lead to Archibald Peck donning a mask and being the mysterious and handsome stranger, basically a ripoff of Dusty Rhodes and the Midnight Rider. But of course, being mysterious and handsome, again, Veronica, maybe her heart would start to go a different way and move from Mr. Touchdown towards the stranger. this would lead to a big, like class prom sort of like homecoming king and queen angle, which again would only really work in CHIKARA, where, you know, it seemed like Mr. Touchdown and Veronica would be the homecoming king and queen at the season finale in 2012. Of course, you know, Veronica would be the queen, but the king would end up being the mysterious and handsome stranger. They would get their first dance, things would seem romantic, and it led to the stranger slopping Veronica, which is a throwback to Phineas Godwin slopping Sonny after she, you know, led him on and manipulated him in a very memorable angle from my childhood. I still remember the WWF magazine cover, Sonny, once so true, I slopped you. This was a big, big angle for anybody, you know, in the, we'll say like 31, 32 to like 41, 42 age bracket. You know, at the time, I think we all remember it really, really well. So they did that. The mysterious and handsome stranger would bring in, you know, his version of Sapphire, which would be like a fake pigeon, which was goofy, but again, he made it work because he's so talented. This would lead to Mark Angelosetti squashing Sapphire in a bag, very similar to Earthquake squashing Damien. So again, all of these old, you know, late 80s, early 90s WWF angles kind of being thrown into this blender and creating this great feud that would, you know, reach its climax in this no disqualification match. And this match is perfect for what it is. It takes all of these little storyline pieces and puts them all together to create this great, memorable package. They fight this match like it's a grudge match at the start, with both guys going, you know, tooth and nail, fighting each other, with Archie kind of getting the advantage. But it leads, you know, to Angelosetti taking over, you know, with his power. He catches him on a pescado and slams him onto the apron and slams him into the seats and takes over. This leads to Archie, you know, pulling out the MMA gloves and grounding and pounding and grabbing a triangle choke, which again, Angelosetti's able to use his strength and powerbomb out of. He gets, you know, the football kind of shoulder pads on and uses those for a big splash. You know, shout out to D'Lo Brown and the chest protector, I guess. But that's only good for 2, and that leads to, you know, Archie getting the mysterious and handsome stranger mask on. And they do like a really great moment with that where he kind of does like the finger guns, and Angelosetti completely no-sells it because, you know, he knows that that's still Archie, but it's enough of a distraction to let Archie hit a big lariat, which was the stranger's finishing move, for a 2 count and a great, great near fall. We get this, you know, just a phenomenal spot that, again, I really tip my hat to the crowd for playing along with it, where Angelosetti grabs this, like, monument of sapphire. So it's basically like an urn, you know, crafted in the shape of a pigeon, and teases, you know, slamming that again. And like, it's funny for me to even say, but they bring out Sapphire, who, again, is a fake bird, with a neck brace on, in a wheelchair, you know, shades of like Linda McMahon at WrestleMania 17 being wheeled out. And, you know, this leads to, you know, a comeback for Archie, where he uses the pigeon for a bunch of double team moves, including the go to tweet, which is like a go to sleep, but with the pigeon, you know, taped to his knee. The whole thing is so preposterous and ridiculous, but it works so well. And this, you know, ends up, we get this big double down, and Veronica slides in her, you know, marching baton, being a cheerleader. And this, you know, was a spot that they used at the pivotal climactic moment of their loser leaves town match, where she threw the baton in to basically be like, you know, whose side is she on, sort of thing. And they both fight over it. Veronica kind of comes in and, you know, stops Archie from using it and tries to, you know, be sensual and say that she always loved him and all of that stuff. And it leads to, you know, an excellent finish in and of itself, where, you know, Archie doesn't fall for her tricks for once, sidesteps a running in Angelosetti, who hits her with a big spear. Archibald Peck has this big, like, bass drum and just throws it over the head of Angelosetti and hits him with his finishing move, the cranial crescendo, which is a diving headbutt that he would famously shout out, "It's time for my finishing move," before he would hit it, much, you know, to the satisfaction of the crowd. Just so many little payoffs in this match for this storyline that, you know, covered basically all of 2012. I love this match so much. It is a perfect representation to me of everything that is wonderful about CHIKARA. And if you've never seen it, watch the whole feud, watch this match. You know, this is really, you know, a way to tell if CHIKARA is for you, if you can invest in it and watch this match and enjoy it. But again, just, you know, a great little time capsule for how great both of these performers are. Two guys that, you know, unfortunately, you know, no longer actively wrestle, but I would love to see that happen again someday, or both of them at least used in some sort of capacity. You can watch this match, of course, on independentwrestling.tv. You can subscribe to my channel here on YouTube so that you never miss a video. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Wrestling50, and please join me again next time as we continue to count down Pro Wrestling's Top 50.